For people who are just joining us, we're just getting started. You haven't missed anything. We're recording this just for posterity, so we can have it maybe at a physical ceremony. So this is the third annual Cork Volunteer Awards launch, which we were hoping to hold on the 5th of November in the Kingsley Hotel. So without further ado, we'll get started, and thank you everyone for joining us.
A very good evening and welcome to the Cork Volunteer Awards.
Personally, I just really love volunteering. I like to be involved in my community and helping people wherever I can.
I first got involved with home singing way back in 1986.
I was always involved. You know, when you have children, you have to become involved with stuff.
So not many young people were coming in to the youth craft, so Alfie took it upon himself to go out and recruit new young people to come in and join the group.
I've been a volunteer with Cork City Civil Defence since 1975.
I wanted to give something back to the community.
Volunteering, not many people recognise it in our community, but I think it's so important, as a little bit of change can do a lot.
Well, this is not just for me, this is for everybody in the club.
Okay, so this is just the running order in terms of who's speaking today, and these are the people behind the Cork Volunteer Awards. So first up, we'll have our chairperson, Christopher O'Brien.
Thanks, Julie. Hello, everyone. As chairperson of Cork Volunteer Centre, and on behalf of the Board of Management of the Volunteer Centre, I'm delighted to welcome you all to the launch of, as Julie says, our third annual Cork Volunteer Awards, an occasion which Cork Volunteer Centre looks forward to each year. For those of you who have participated and supported us before, we welcome you back. We're delighted to have you with us again. And for those of you that are new to us, what you'll see here from this launch is the huge work that goes on in the Volunteer Centre to mark this occasion and to pay tribute to the amazing volunteers in the Cork area. None of the work that goes on would be possible without the support of our sponsors, some of whom you've seen their logos there, and you'll see them throughout the presentation. The volunteer involving organisations, and some of them are here to speak as well. And also, obviously, it wouldn't be fair of me to say without our own team in the Volunteer Centre who do an exceptional work. And I thank you all for your continued commitment to the volunteers of Cork. Today marks the launch of our awards and the opening of the nomination process. And I'm sure that you, like me, probably know many people in the community who've really stepped up in this past year. In the face of quite difficult circumstances, it must be said, volunteers had continued to provide the much needed services and supports to our community. And our awards help to acknowledge that effort. Often for a group of people who don't actually ask or seek acknowledgement. We're very happy to be here today, and although online, we do look forward to getting to meet you all face to face, hopefully later in the year, to celebrate the amazing volunteers of Cork. So for now, thank you all very much. You're all very, very welcome, and enjoy the rest of the launch. And I'll pass you back to Julie.
Great, for the lovely words. So next up, we have Kieran from C103, who are our headline sponsors, and they have, I must say, been with us throughout the entire process, and we really could not deliver the awards without them. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Julie. Good afternoon, everyone. As Julie mentioned, I'm Kieran McGeary. I'm the Group Station Director of C103 and its sister station, Cork's 96 FM. We're delighted that C103 is again involved in the Cork Volunteer Awards. As Christopher highlighted earlier, the important work that is carried out by volunteers in Cork is just absolutely amazing. Volunteers touch every facet of our community, I think, and without doubt, the region just couldn't function to the extent that it does if it weren't for the enormous contribution that these selfless people make on an ongoing basis. Just 18 months ago, I guess none of us could have anticipated what we were all facing into. And there's no doubt that while the public health crisis has made all of our lives more difficult and strange as we adjusted to the new norm, it highlighted even more the invaluable work that's carried out by the voluntary sector. And what's equally impressive is that so much of that is done completely under the radar. Most people that I know who volunteer in any capacity are not doing so because they want or expect any plaudits. Nonetheless, the decision by Cork Volunteer Centre to establish these awards in the first place was the right one, and C103 feels very privileged to help highlight the wonderful work that is going on in our communities. So on behalf of everyone at C103, I'd like to congratulate Cork Volunteer Centre for the hard work that goes into organising these awards. And that was made even more difficult, of course, last year by having to move the awards online. But that was a great success. And I've no doubt that the physical event, fingers crossed, in November this year will be the same. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kieran. So next up, we had the city or the Lord Mayor, but I think he probably hasn't joined us yet. So we might move along. The County Mayor wasn't available, but she did record a gorgeous video, so I'm just going to play it now if that's okay with everyone.
This past year has been remarkably challenging. As Mayor and on behalf of the people of County Cork, I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude for the tireless efforts and invaluable work of our volunteers and voluntary organisations during this extraordinary period. The massive response to the community call reminded us how strong the culture of volunteerism is across County Cork. Every day, volunteers make a little difference that add up to great changes, improving our communities and the lives of all who live there. The Cork Volunteer Awards is an opportunity to acknowledge the selfless work, to celebrate our local heroes who go above and beyond in their efforts to make their communities better. Events such as the Cork Volunteer Awards are important occasions to acknowledge accomplishments, reinforce efforts, and not least, show our appreciation. I encourage you to nominate those special people in your communities and your organisations who deserve recognition. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words. Next up, we've got Sinead. Sinead was our West Cork Volunteer of the Year in 2019, and she's very kindly agreed to speak a little bit today about what winning the award meant to her.
Thanks, Julie. Sinead is also very nervous. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank the Cork Volunteer Centre for inviting me. Just checking I took it off mute, I did. For inviting me to speak at the launch here today. I'd also like to I'd like to thank them for reminding me of the COVID layer I put on since that video was taken. When I got the call to say that I was an award winner, it was like a bolt out of the blue, to be honest with you. Belated apologies to whoever made the call on the day, but it was a great honour. It was very humbling to be thought of, both by the organisation and the people who decided on the final winners. It was also the start of a great friendship between myself and the Cork Volunteer Centre. And for me personally, there was two great outcomes out of it. It was the Irish Heart Foundation that nominated me, and I worked with them for several years. And I guess I never thought that I would really need their services, which is kind of strange. But I did when my mother had a series of strokes a couple of years ago. And the support I received from them was just phenomenal, to be perfectly honest. And so receiving the award and being able to talk about them was just a small way for me to publicly thank them and raise awareness of them and of everything that they do. So that was very important for me to do. The other thing was the awards night itself. We had a gorgeous night in the Kingsley, and I hope that will happen again this year. Online was really lovely as well last year, but there's nothing like sitting down around a table with people. Meeting the other award winners, learning about their organisations. I've gone on to recommend friends and family about them. I knew some of them. I learned about new ones, or they're not new, but they were new to me. So that was really lovely as well. And I suppose just to finish, I'd like to send best wishes to anyone that is nominated this year. It's so hard. Like, there's thousands, millions of people volunteering everywhere. And there's no doubt about it, this past year has been very turbulent. We've had to be inventive in our thinking and how to help people and keep everybody safe, including ourselves. So anyone that is nominated, what am I trying to say? Anyone who's nominated will more than deserve it. And also just tell you that you will be in very safe hands with the Cork Volunteer Centre. And a special mention to Adam, because he has an interviewing technique that you don't even know the camera is there. So yeah, just best wishes to everybody, and thank you to the Cork Volunteer Centre and everybody involved there.
Thanks so much, Sinead. I hope it wasn't as terrible as you thought it might be. Thank you so much. And look, I suppose one thing I can say is everyone who is nominated receives a thank you card from Cork Volunteer Centre. So it's something they're all winners in our eyes, and I really don't envy the judging panel in any way, shape or form. Thankfully, all I have to do is chair that. So next up, we've got Bernadette O'Connor from CDYS and Club Activate. They did very well in last year's awards, and it would be great to hear from them about why an organisation should nominate their volunteers.
Thanks, Julie. Yeah, my name is Bernadette, and I work with the Clonard Diocesan Youth Service. I'm based here in Mallow. And I work in the area of youth ministry for Mallow. And I suppose CDYS were delighted we nominated in 2 different categories. My colleague Sharon Doody would have nominated Alfie, as you see there. So he got the Youth Award, and I nominated for the Activate Club, Miriam O'Connor. The Activate Club is a youth club for children on the autism spectrum. And I suppose we were very new to the Cork Volunteer Centre. But since then, we have got a good amount of volunteers from the Cork Volunteer Centre. And I suppose why we nominated, it's very hard to single out any individual when you're nominating. And I suppose I kind of think, well, how can I single out anybody over another one? Because they all do tremendous work, and it's all free time, and they put in so much time and effort. But I suppose the volunteer that stood out for me, Miriam O'Connor, she has been volunteering with the Activate Club since it started back 11 years now at this stage. And while she would have children herself going to the club, that never deterred her from helping the other parents that were coming on board within the club. And I mean, she'd be the go-to person for parents, for myself, for the young people. And I suppose she was as shocked, no more than myself, when we got the call to say that Miriam had actually received the award, which was good. I suppose it was good for the club, it was good for CDYS, and I suppose it's kind of, as Sinead said there, it's kind of built up the relationship with the Cork Volunteer Centre. And then when Alfie, we nominated a young person again. How do we pick a young person over all the other young people that do so much for us? But I suppose with lockdown, we were trying to engage as best we could with the young people. So we nominated Alfie because Alfie was our IT go-to, when we were setting up Zoom and all the different platforms that we were using. And Alfie, I suppose he's got a great sense of connection with people. So when we nominated him, I suppose he was gobsmacked. He thought it was a prank. He thought it was a joke, that Sharon was playing a joke on him. But no, it really wasn't. And I know we didn't get the award ceremony, but we had a great day out up in Kinsley outside. And it was just even great just to spend that time outside talking and chatting with the masks or whatever. But I suppose, so why would you nominate your volunteers? Because for us as a youth club and as a youth organisation, like it's not possible for us to do the work that we can do without the volunteers. And I know they give so freely of their time, and you'd love to be able to give them more, particularly now in COVID. But like, they don't come on board wanting stuff. They want to come and help. They want to see how best they can improve, we'll say, working with young people or working with adults, whatever the case may be. But I suppose, you know, when I'm thinking here, you know, who could we nominate this year? Again, there's a platform of people that we would like to volunteer as both in the youth category and in the adult category as well. But I know we've told loads of people about the Cork Volunteer Centre, you know, even to get your name in there, get volunteering through there, and you never know what road the road will lead you towards. So I just want to say thanks to Julie and Adam and all the gang there at the Cork Volunteer Centre, because, you know, if you have a problem, you can just pick up the phone and ring them. So it's absolutely fantastic. So thanks very much, Julie.
Thanks, Bernadette, for those lovely kind words. The reason we can be here is because we receive sponsorship from either state organisations or private sector organisations to deliver the awards, because we don't have core funding to do it otherwise. So Gary from Douglas Credit Union, who are new to us this year, is going to explain to people why they decided to get involved in the volunteer awards.
Thanks, Julie. I suppose it was a no-brainer for us really to get involved in this, because there's numerous reasons. One of the first reasons is our board are made up entirely of volunteers, and without them we wouldn't be here. And they do fantastic work and a lot of work in the background off their own back in their own time, which we really, really do appreciate. And also a lot of the teams and organizations we support in our local community are 100% run by volunteers, and without them those clubs and organizations wouldn't exist. And I don't think there's anyone out there, anyone who's on this call today, who hasn't benefited from the work of a volunteer, whether it's playing your local GA club, seeing your local area being enhanced by the local tidy towns. And without them, even though they're not out there looking for limelight or recognition. It's nice to see there is a platform there where they can get it, and they can get some recognition for the work that they do. It's a testament, I suppose, to Julie and her team that there is a platform there and the work that they do in the background. So they're the reasons we're kind of, I suppose, it's why we're sponsoring an award like this, because it backs up our own ethos, and we're delighted to see it. We're delighted to be involved in it. We're looking forward to see the nominees. We're looking forward to see the winners on the night, and we'd just like to wish Julie and all our team the very best of luck for the next few months ahead. And I don't envy them picking the winners from the nominees that do come in.
Thank you so much, Gary. I hate to break it to you, but usually the judging panel is made up of sponsors.
Okay, right.
So you might I don't think I outlined that in the sponsor agreement. So you might actually have to do a bit of work.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So look, as I said, the ceremony will take place, hopefully, COVID permitting and all that, on the 5th of November in the Kingsley Hotel. Fingers crossed, we'll have some wine and we'll have a sit-down meal. And the nice thing about the awards is that the volunteers get to bring their family members for a meal, which is always really nice. And C103, Patricia Messenger, who I was speaking to this morning on the radio, will most likely be our host again for the night. And we'll announce the C103 overall winner on the night. And so I just a little note there in terms of public health guidelines, but I think we all know we need to be flexible at this stage. So it's very easy. Just hop onto our website, www.volunteercork.ie/Cork Volunteer Awards. It's a really simple form. We do need a postal address for the volunteer. It would be great if the organisation knows that you're nominating somebody as well. We will check that they are actually volunteering. And then there's just a couple of little questions about the impact the volunteer makes. So I suppose that's it really, unless anyone has any questions. I'm not sure if something popped up on my screen. I'm not sure if the Lord Mayor has had a chance to,
he is here,
to join the call. Hello and welcome.
Hi, how are you doing? I don't know, can you hear me?
We can indeed. Thank you. We heard we were experiencing some technical difficulties.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. I put it this way to you. I had a full head of hair when I came in this morning.
I think technical difficulties and you're on mute are kind of the soundtrack of this year, really, aren't they? So
Yeah.
I'll leave you speak, Lord Mayor, and thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks, Julie. And I won't keep you long because, look, I thank you so much. First of all, my sincere apologies for being late logging on to this call, but I for some reason, my computer, and I don't know why, I couldn't get into my computer. I had no access. My password was acting up, the whole lot. So, and then when I opened it up, there's emails shooting out all over the place. So I know that you feel my pain as such. But anyway, listen to me. First and foremost, the volunteer awards is very, very important. My year as Lord Mayor has been very different, and it kind of suited me because I'm at heart, anybody that knows me knows that I'm very much a community orientated public representative. So my role has been very much focused on local communities and voluntary groups in the local communities in particular. And I volunteer myself every weekend and with our local Tidy Towns group there in Mayfield, St. Luke's Tidy Towns group, and we're going out actually next Saturday litter picking. So, I mean, volunteers are very close to my heart, and for someone to actually give of their time and volunteer is a very special commitment, and we're very lucky in Cork. And anytime I attend an event, I always refer to Cork as the real capital, but it's the capital of volunteerism in the country, and they love me in Dublin for that, of course, when I do get on national calls. But listen, we have no shortage of voluntary organisations in our city. Our city is rich with volunteerism in so many different sectors, and something I'm very, very proud of, to be quite honest with you. So I have to pay tribute to you for putting these awards in place. And I'd say every single category that you'll actually go through, I'd say you'll have an extremely difficult job selecting a winner from any particular category, because the depth of volunteerism in our city of Cork is nothing short of exemplary. So, you know, so well done to each and every one of you. You have a very tough job ahead of you. I don't envy it. So well done, everybody, and thank you so much for asking me just to say a few words at the start. As I say, volunteerism and voluntary groups are top of my list of everything, really, because we wouldn't survive as a city if we didn't have voluntary organisations. We depend so heavily on voluntary organisations to do things, whether it is Tidy Towns, whether it is Meals on Wheels, regardless what it is. And particularly in the COVID times that we've had over the last 15 or 16 months, that's when volunteerism really came to the fore, and we seriously and significantly realised the importance of volunteers. In fact, this afternoon, excuse me, this afternoon I'm doing, this is the time of the year for Lord Mayor's Awards, and we're doing community, cultural and community awards this afternoon. We've 3 this afternoon and we've 3 tomorrow. Within the city, and we're just calling it COVID Heroes. So organisations that we invited communities and from the Community Response Forum across the city to recommend, and various groups in the area that stepped outside their circle, some stepped outside their circle of comfort and helped local communities, whether it is the elderly people or vulnerable people in society. So we're recognising them this afternoon today in the Lord Mayor's Chamber, and tomorrow as well. So it's, again, a lot of voluntary recognition, similar to what you're doing. So well done, everybody, and thank you so much. And again, my sincere apologies for my IT incompetence. So thankfully I'm back online again on one of my computers, but my laptop still has a bit of work to be done on it. So thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Lord Mayor. So look, I suppose I don't have much else to say really other than get nominating, and happy National Volunteer Week. And please check out our website for the list of ongoing events and training and workshops and various activities we have going on for the rest of the week. So thank you again for your time, and well done, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you.